What's up, everybody? Tendo here, and with me I've got Darkside Hannah, and we are back from our 9-day cross-country trip. We drove from Phoenix, Arizona to Kentucky, and then back again. We stopped at several surrounding states, surrounding Kentucky, like Tennessee and Missouri, which is where she's from. We were all over the place, and it looked on camera like we did a ton. And the truth is that we did a ton more than we showed on camera. So today we're going to talk about some of the stuff we got, some of our favorite stuff, as well as some of the stuff that didn't make it into the videos. We've got one more small problem to solve before we can call this trip officially over, and it is that this car is full to the top of video games and clothes and Nerf guns, and we've got to get them all inside somehow. So I think there's a lone shopping cart somewhere around this complex. I'm gonna go find that, and then we'll try to get all this stuff inside. So let's just start with our stuff. It's a lot of stuff. And these are all my video games, and these are all Hannah's clothes. And these clothes are covering up an armchair. It may be hard to tell, but there's an armchair under there. But let's talk about what you got, all right? Hannah, you got, well, first of all, let's do this. This is kind of fun. Look at those clothes. All right, come in close, kind of look around. There's more stuff back here, right? I want all you guys watching to look at those clothes and think, I want to guess how many clothes that is. And then look at these video games, right? And guess about how many video games are there, and then just try to decide. Did she get more clothes, or did I get more video games? It's not a competition, but it is. It's not, but it is. How many there? Comment below about how many clothes you think that is. Pause the video. Comment. How many video games is this? And then we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about those numbers. But Hannah, what did you get that you loved?
Ooh.
And can you dig it out of there?
I kind of have a few things on top that I really loved, like this jacket, which if you watch that video, I have already obsessed over it. So she's my fave. Beautiful. Then these shoes.
Matching shoes.
I mean, that'd be a pretty great outfit, not gonna lie. Where do I put it? This thing is so cool because they're so hard to find. A 90s vintage Tommy Hilfiger sweatshirt, that's rare. And I found this at a garage sale, and it was one of our friend's moms, and I was like, please can I have that? Thank you. I will give you money. So I gave her money, and now it's mine.
Yeah, our hometown, my hometown, had a huge garage sale, a statewide garage sale, and when I got there, my buddy's house that I usually sleep at when we're in my hometown, he's like, you going to that garage sale tomorrow? And I was like, excuse me? He's like, the Highway 60 garage sale, you going? I was like, did not know that was tomorrow. Yes, let's do it. He's like, well, cool. My mother-in-law is having a garage sale. We'll go start there, and she lives in a big neighborhood, which she did. We bought most of the video games that we bought garage selling on the road in her surrounding neighborhood, so that was pretty awesome. What else?
Ooh, these, because they are just quintessentially my style. I would never fit in them, but this is my like brand aesthetic, just floral, weird, and super old 80s.
She just used a lot of words that I'm not sure are words. Quintessentially?
Is that
I'm not sure
grammatically correct?
That's not technically grammatically correct, but that's okay. We didn't all go to English school. Keep going.
I think this might be my crown jewel. Found this at the Little Rock bins. It's just like a Mickey onesie, and I found like 2 or 3 of these now. The Mickey Mouse buttons. I found 2 or 3 of these now, and I've had people message me over and over, and they were like, oh my gosh, if you ever find another one, let me know, please. I want that so bad. So I'm very excited.
But also, check this out. Be really quiet. You hear this? Point this way. Do you know what happens when you get a video camera out? One of a few things. Either some redneck with a 4-wheeler decides to drive by, or some other guy who's responsibly doing his job decides to get out a leaf blower. He's outside our door. Look.
It's literally right there.
I'm telling you, we can't film a video without... And you know what's really funny about when this happens? Is that, like, you know he's just out there doing his job, and he's doing a just fine job. But the irrational part of your brain goes, that man is out there just twirling that leaf blower. He's just like this. Oh my god. Now I've messed up the window. Alright. What else did you get?
Dallas thought I was crazy for getting this, but I just really like the colors of it. It's just very fall, which it's fall now, so I was just getting into the vibe. And so the last of my favorites are these Rocky jeans. I really love Rocky jeans. These are super old. I found 2 or 3 pairs of these jeans, but the white ones were definitely my favorite. I got a pair of black ones and a pair of blue ones as well.
All right, that's a lot of clothes. Get your dirty clothes off my Nerf guns. We're gonna talk about Hannah's report card. How did she do? Well, we'll tell you the total number at the end, but I'm sure there's some of you with quick maths that will probably know what the total number is before I'm done. She got 1 swimsuit. Except, look right, can you see this, what I wrote at the top? You're gonna see all the numbers now, but can you see that? She got 1 swim shit, 1 purse, 2 tracksuits, 2 army pants, 4 jumpsuits, 3 shoes, 4 overalls, 7 dresses, 7 shorts, 10 jackets, 10 sweatshirts, 14 shirts, and a whopping 19 pairs of jeans. What is that total? Come on, quick maths. 84. It's probably, my math's probably wrong. But she got about 90 items. I don't know how we fit all that in the car. You know what? It's funny because right there, it looks, you know, we could cram that in the back seat or something. But all that stuff was in different bags just piled up in the back hatch of my car. 84 items. All right, let's go over my stuff. So right when the trip started, I was finding crazy stuff. Like this Clone Trooper helmet that I didn't have this color variation of. That was wild. Midway through the trip, I was buying Nerf guns and board games and just stuff that I don't need, but I couldn't leave there because like that board game was like $1. It's a vintage 80s Ghostbusters game. I couldn't leave that in the bins. And then the games. There's so much here that there's so many games I got while on this trip that I was happy about. There's a stack of games about Yay Big that were all from one Goodwill. If you haven't watched all the episodes from our trip, definitely go back and watch them because there were some really great finds there. So you know, I didn't know what was going to happen when we went on the road looking for video games and looking for clothes. I mean, because, well, if there's anything that I knew was going to happen was we were going to find them. Because when you go looking for video games, guess what happens? You find them. Which is actually not something I should complain about, but like that was probably one of the downsides of this trip, that as soon as we got started, it was like, well, we can't spend all our money. We got to have enough money to get back home. You know what I mean? But like, you get there, you get to the first 5 thrift stores, and you're like, I have to buy all of this because this is all so great. That happened a lot on this trip. So I say that to say, if you ever just think, hey, I'm going to get my significant other and I'm going to drive 1,000 miles this way and buy every video game on the way, first of all, do it. Because you should just get out and travel, because that's worth it on its own. But if you're going to buy video games on the way, budget your money or something, because you're going to find a lot. Because, I mean, there's so much of this that was just, like, we went to a pawn shop. We really should have went to more pawn shops on the road. The quality of game shopping at the pawn shops here in Phoenix where we live is not great. But the one pawn shop that we stopped on the road had, like, 200 PS3 games, all for, like, a couple bucks each. So, other parts of the world that you might travel to, you're going to find that. So, look at all my games. This is, you know, probably 65-70% from thrift stores, and then the rest of that is broken down a little bit into Goodwill bins, which is still thrift stores, but you can separate it a little bit. A pawn shop, a handful of garage sales, and I think it's not bad. But now we got to talk about numbers. Are you ready? Has anybody got a guess? Let's run through them. 64 PS2 games. 22 Xbox games, 21 Wii games, 9 PSP games. I got a tie with 8 360 games and 8 PS3 games. 7 PS1 games. Are you counting? 1 NES game, 2 Wii U games, and 5 GameCube games. Did I miss any? But that's a total of 147 games. So Hannah loses, is what I'm saying.
You beat my number with the first 2.
Did I really? Oh man, that's great. Yeah, it's not a competition, but it is. But it's not. I bought a lot of video games, and I'm very happy about it. If I had to pick some favorite things like Hannah did, this wide stack of PSP games and these PS1 games, I'm very happy about those because that's something I find very small amounts of in town. And honestly, 8 days on the road, that's about how many I would find on 8 normal days of thrifting. So it's nice to find that wherever I go, I'm going to still find at least a few PSP games, PS1 games. There's some games in here for the Xbox, like these Tenchu games that I'm very excited about. And I don't know, there's just a bunch of little stuff. I'm happy that I actually came home with any GameCube games at all. That was cool. And a couple Wii U games. I'm happy about all of it. Don't make me pick. This is hard. I'm not picking. There's some other stuff that's just junk. Like I said, I got Nerf guns, but a whole bag full of Skylanders and Disney Infinity. It's all stuff that you guys who watch regularly know I'm a bit obsessed with. So I'm going to go through these later and add them to my arcade top Skylander collection. My Disney Infinity collection is actually in my bedroom. Weird. I know. I'm a grown adult that has Disney Infinity in his bedroom, but get over it. And then the best, probably the funniest bag in all of my junk is like, here's a Luigi toy and a camp cooker. I love thrifting because I always come home with a bag of miscellaneous, but I'm very happy about this little Luigi. He goes with the rest of my Mario toys. So as I said earlier, there was a lot of stuff that happened on the road that maybe we either didn't show or didn't talk about. We talked about a lot of it. So there was a birthday party, lots of screaming kids. It was my niece's like 3rd or 4th birthday. I don't know. I've got so many nieces and nephews. It's hard to keep up with. So let's just chalk. What did you say? 4?
4.
She was 4. She's like this tall though, so she looks like she's 22. But I've talked a lot on this channel about how big I am. So if you've really in any way gauged how big I actually am, you won't be surprised that my nieces and nephew all look like young grown adults. So that was fun. While we were there though, I got to give my brother some golf clubs that I thrifted. And I've talked about this a ton on the channel since it started. That I kind of, for family members that collect things, whenever I find something they collect, I get it for them. So I was able to take him 4 or 5 wooden golf clubs from like the 1920s. And that was a good time. And we actually went outside of where the birthday party was, at the church it was at, and he hit some of the golf balls into the field just to test them out. And I almost expected them to break because like they're just these old, almost brittle feeling pieces of wood. But they work just as well as a normal golf club, so that was cool. What else did we do?
I gave my brother a vintage board game that he was really excited about. It was a vintage mousetrap game that we had when we were a kid, and he was really excited about it, and then his son got to play with it, so that was really cool to see too.
We didn't get that on camera though, did we?
I don't think so.
But it's kind of funny because that board game has been under our bed for like 2 years, because like we went home once and she forgot to take it, and then we went this time, she remembered. So we actually left the house with a lot of stuff, which is kind of funny. And as once we got there, we unloaded it and had more space to fill up to come back with. But that was fun. We do that a lot. We should probably add that stuff in the videos more than we do, because we do thrift for other people. Not as much as we do ourselves, obviously, but we do thrift for other people. I've got a few really close friends that I went to college with and stuff that like keep me updated on what video games they're looking for their collections and stuff, and I'll buy them and actually, send them to them. So maybe we'll add some of that in the videos in the future. But that was probably one of the more fun parts of the trip. Not only getting to buy me some stuff, but taking that stuff to the people that we've been hoarding it up for so long. What else did we do?
The not so fun part of going home was...
Oh yeah, the funeral. But, the funeral wasn't all bad. A lot of family members that we don't usually get to see were there. And, we really probably wouldn't have went on this trip and taken the time to do everything we did had it not happened. So it's nice taking something that was generally a negative and turning it into a positive. That's how we felt about it. And when we made the decision to do what we did, go shopping on this trip and stuff, that was part of it. We're like, well, we're not going to just go fly for one day and be bummed out. Let's leave now, let's go thrifting for a few days, let's go to the funeral, let's enjoy having time with family, and then let's leave and go thrifting again. So it was all right. I had fun.
I did too.
And then one more thing to talk about. What was your favorite stop on the whole trip?
Little Rock. Easy.
Which one was that?
The Little Rock bins. It was the big bins that had the computer store.
Oh, the one where you got that whole cart of stuff out of one bin. You know what? That was the one I probably want to go back to the most. Mm-hmm. But I'd say my favorite stop was that Goodwill bins that was attached to a regular Goodwill, and also not at all advertised. So like, you go to this Goodwill, if you're not looking for a bins like we were, you walk up and you're like, oh, Goodwill, and you're leaving to get in your car, and you look over and there's another Goodwill entrance. Like, it's almost like the Matrix. It's like red pill, blue pill. Like, you go into the regular Goodwill and you have a normal experience, or you go see the reality of thrifting by going into the bins where everyone's crazy and fighting each other for stuff. It was wild. Actually, we didn't find much of anything at the bins portion. We bought way more stuff out of the regular Goodwill. But that was cool. But that was my favorite. But why was that one your favorite? Other than the fact that you got a ridiculous amount of stuff out of one bin.
I mean, that was probably it, because it was the most successful, but it just felt a lot more like home. We hadn't been to the Phoenix bins in a little while, and we'd been doing a lot of thrifting just in regular thrift stores, so it just felt really cool to be back in my element a little bit.
I will agree. I've been to probably 10, 11, 12 different Goodwill bins all over the United States. And that's probably the one that's came closest to being as big and as operating as cleanly. And by cleanly, I mean smoothly, like bringing out stuff as fast and just being as awesome as the one here at Phoenix is. So next time we leave the house to go anywhere to drive, we're probably going to have to go through Little Rock and actually spend a couple days there. Yeah, and I think that's the next step in this kind of series that we did while we were on the road. Our next step is to go hit the road again, but like make a week-long series in different towns, right? Because everything that you saw while we were on the road was just like, rush, go, let's go. Because, I mean, she has a normal adult job, right, that she has to go back to that has very set hours, and we had to be back on a very specific day. So we probably spent max 30 minutes in any regular Goodwill. Even that seems like it was probably less. Like, most of the regular thrift stores we went to were like 15 minutes. There was maybe one or two where we found a lot of stuff where we stayed for 30. But then the Goodwill bins, we never stayed at any of those more than
an hour.
Yeah, probably the one in Nashville we stayed at for like 2 hours. But the rest of those bins in this whole series were just like, we were in there and we were out. We just did a rotation, as they're called, a rotation. They bring new stuff out, we dig through it, we get out. So we definitely want to do this again, and we'll be doing it in the future, but it will be when we have time to go somewhere for a week. We've got a trip coming up, we think. We're not promising anything, but to Dallas, Texas. And if any of you guys that are watching are either from there or familiar with the area and you know about thrifting in that region, definitely leave some comments below. Run over to our Discord, which we'll talk about here in a minute, and maybe direct message us on there or talk to us in our different Discord channels about maybe where you think we should go when we come to Dallas, Texas to thrift, because we should be there in the next couple of months. So yeah, and if we don't, if like you're watching this video in like a year from now and we never actually went to Dallas, well, don't get mad, because we do a lot of random stuff. If you should have learned anything from our channel, we're very random people doing really random stuff, and that trip might fall through. It might happen sooner. We might just leave tomorrow and be in Dallas. That's kind of how our life goes a lot of the time.
I will say shout out to the thrift store in my hometown, because that one was surprisingly good.
Like, are you saying second fave?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because with it being such a small town, nobody's actually looking for the stuff that I'm looking for. So it was just like chock full of like your grandma's best stuff. So it was amazing. And I actually got that red jacket there. So.
Oh, your favorite thing came from there. Well, that's why it's your second fave. Well, I don't mean to make what you're talking about all about me, but I'm going to make it all about me. It sucked for video games. There was not one. I was genuinely surprised as well about the Goodwills specifically in my hometown. One of those stops might be one of the places I bought the highest number of games. Not necessarily the best quality of games, but there's one of the Goodwills in my hometown. Not only did I buy like 15 games there, but also there were like several different NES Zelda cartridges there that were really well priced. And I didn't end up buying them for myself because we'd already spent too much money that day. But I had a buddy of mine come by, and he actually bought them for his collection. But it was really surprising to see that in my hometown, just because ever since we've moved here, we've always preached that Phoenix is just like this. This is a secret, don't tell anybody. It's a magical land of thrifting. It's magic. Like, there's unicorns in the thrift stores here. It's just wild. So I guess knowing that, we just kind of decided we're going to go home and this is going to be terrible. But it wasn't. It was good. Which some of it made sense, because like you bought a lot of overalls, right?
Yes.
So she's from the middle of nowhere, Missouri. So it makes sense that there's a lot of overalls there, and we sell a lot of overalls. So I guess now that we've done it, it all makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I bought all the overalls in the store except for the ones that all the people were wearing, because there were a lot.
Because everybody in the store was wearing overalls. Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, your thrift store in your hometown, it was good for clothes, but I didn't buy any video games.
No.
You didn't really buy any clothes, really, in the Goodwill
I
Market.
didn't know.
So basically, next time we go home, you need to go to Missouri, I'll go to Kentucky. We'll just ignore each other for a week and shop there, and then we'll meet back in the middle and see how we did. But I think chances are I'll end up buying more video games than you did, because you're a loser. But that's it, guys. That's everything that we got. Hannah loses, I win. It's not a competition, but it is. It's not, but it is. And leave us a comment below and let us know what your favorite thing that we got out of everything. I bet there's a few people that will probably say that red jacket. Because my best game is maybe, in my head, only a little bit better than that jacket, because that is beautiful. What are you shaking?
The jacket's perfect.
But yeah, I don't know. Look, there's stuff down here I forgot about. I got 2 Nintendo DS's. They're just... And then, actually, you know what? So, like, here's some empty cases. You see all this mess over here on the floor? Those are all video games that are either, like, empty, or they're doubles, or they're computer games that I'm not really going to add to the collection in a normal way. This whole house is a wreck, simply because of all the stuff that we got at the thrift store. So what we're going to do now, after you guys leave us alone, is we're going to put all this stuff away. I'm going to go paint this shelf yellow so that it matches the rest of these shelves. And then we've got to get all those games organized with all these games. And look at this. Let me show you a little secret. We're too deep right now because I am so low on shelving space. So expect an update really soon, a little game room update where we rearrange all this stuff, and I don't know, we'll have to show you Hannah's closet when we're done, because it's gonna be rough.
It's a mess.
This whole house is a mess. But that's what happens when you go on vacation just to buy stuff. You come home with stuff. As I said, as a wise man once said, if you leave the house to go look for video games, you will find them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let's have a little talk about some other things. Real quick, before you go. Discord. You've been hearing me say this for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 videos in a row. What is it? It's a place where we chat about the stuff that we buy. And then, conversely, you guys chat about the stuff that you find at the thrift stores. Whether it's video games, whether it's clothes, go join our Discord and talk about your thrift finds. Also, we're talking about video games over there. We're talking about everything. We've got a general section where we just talk about life. So come talk about life. I don't know. And also, we just started streaming video games on Twitch. Now, here's the thing. We're going to do live streams here on YouTube in the future once we get more subs and we unlock those user features that YouTube doesn't allow you to use unless you have like 1,000 subs. We're going to do some of that in the future, but like that'll be like Q&A stuff, right? We'll just talk about stuff. But on Twitch, we're playing video games because if you haven't noticed, we play video games. You see these? You see these? These are all video games that we probably won't play most of one day, but we're going to try to play a bunch of. And over on Twitch is where we do that, right? So basically what Twitch is like me and Patrick are going to play video games anyways, so we figured we might as well, since we have an audience here on YouTube, etc., we might as well stream it. So go over to our Twitch, hit that follow button, and hit the notification thing on there so that whenever we do go live, you'll get a notification. And at some point, you don't have to come all the time. You might just say, hey, I'd like to go chat with Tendo. Hey, I'd like to go chat with Hannah. Hey, I'd like to go chat with this weirdo. And what'll happen is when you get that notification, you can come do that. So go follow us on Twitch. Come hang out sometime. Real quick before you go here on YouTube, let's do the same thing. hit that like and subscribe button and hit that bell notification so that when we post these videos in the future, you'll get a notification and you can come hang out with us then. And until then, guys, peace out.